This is the CVLife 4 reticle red dot. It's actually a red or green dot because the color of the reticle is user selectable. But this is probably the most ripped off and copied design in red dot optics. The original was the Sightmark Sure Shot model, though I've reached out to Sightmark to confirm. If you know this for sure, please add a comment below. Now, this particular design has a lot going for it. As you can see, it has a very thin frame around the lens, offering you a very wide field of view. So it's great for birding or just on a range gun because you have an almost completely unobstructed view and good situational awareness. The downside, of course, is that this very thin frame offers very little protection to the lens itself. In fact, I owned a model very much like this years ago. And the first time I brought it to an airsoft CQB field, I got the lens cracked from a BB hit. So if you're going to mount one of these for airsoft, especially for CQB, you want to put a lens protector in front of it. And I actually have a video which I'll link here for what those lens protectors are. But if you're going to use it for just for range use, it's a perfectly good optic type for a ranged gun. If you're going to be in action sports or in rough handling where you're likely to drop it or bang it against something, this may not be the model for you. Now, CVLife offered this to me for review, so let's take a look at what makes this particular model different from all the rest. Here we have the red dot itself, the red-green dot. Now, this is the battery compartment, and I just put the battery inside there so I could check function, and it does function. It is a CR032 type button battery, and that fits in the battery compartment on the top, which is, you know, nice that you can access that without having to unmount the red dot and have to re-zero. And you have a choice between green or red. So there's red and there's green. And you have 4 different types of reticle. The Starburst, which is a dot inside of a small ring with 4 bars at the compass points. There's the Crosshair style, which is crosshairs with a single dot in the center. There's an EOTech style dot inside of a larger 10 MOA ring, and there's the single 3 MOA dot, which is definitely helpful for precision shooting. And having one of the other reticles, I suppose, would be helpful for quick acquisition or perhaps gauging bullet drop at long range. But having all 4 is a bit of a gimmick, though I suppose if you're a new shooter and you don't know what kind of reticle you like shooting with, having all 4 in one unit would save you the price of buying 4 different types of red dot. Okay, we're going to do a water resistance test here. It claims to be waterproof, but I think that just means weatherproof. I doubt this thing would actually survive a complete immersion. But to be realistic, you might be caught in the rain, so let's see what happens if it's raining buckets. Okay, it's about a quart of water. And here's an inherent flaw in this red dot design. The frame is so thin that it provides no protection to the lens from the environment. So if it was raining, water droplets will collect on the inside of the lens and distort your view of the reticle, rendering it practically useless, especially for hunting. Furthermore, some moisture did make its way into the tiny window that's in front of the reticle emitter, so the reticle was a little ghosted looking. So from a practical standpoint, I'm going to have to call this one a fail. Alright, so this is our setup for today. We've got our CVLife red dot mounted to a G36-22, and we've got the target downrange, and we're going to see if this unit can hold its 0. As I was adjusting the reticle, I found the elevation adjustment to be very mushy. You couldn't hear the clicks. You could kind of barely feel them, but the windage adjustment gave me very positive clicks. Despite the turrets, I was able to achieve 0 pretty quickly, 5 shots on the target on the top left. I felt confident enough to proceed and fire 10 more shots in the next 2 targets to confirm that the 0 was holding. After I was satisfied that it was grouping well enough, I proceeded to the use and abuse test. So I banged up the optic pretty well with my ammo can, just to simulate, regular recoil and regular use over time. I mean, even in a padded bag, stuff's going to bump into your rifle in your trunk or your truck bed. Stuff's going to happen. I immediately proceeded to fire 5 rounds into the next target to see if the unit indeed held at 0 even after getting banged up. And this is that group on the center target here. And I'm going to say this held at 0 because this group looks almost identical to the previous 2 groups. All of them were slightly above and to the left of center bullseye overall, and that consistency says that it held at 0. I'm going to say this, as far as this test is concerned, this unit passes. So let's recap. The CVLife 4 reticle red green dot reflex sight. Man, that's a mouthful. Kind of failed, kind of passed the water test, but it definitely held at 0 on the range. Is it worth it? Well, hopefully this review helped you decide. And if you like this review, please hit the like button. And if you're new to the channel, please hit subscribe and share with your friends in the shooting and airsoft community. You be safe out there. Moondog out.